life's a beautiful thing. As long as I hold the string, I'd be a silly soul.
So good morning, good afternoon, Staten Island. Show is on sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. And welcome to the Lambert Show. Always in memory of my mom and dad, particularly my dad, because he had a show here in the 90s, of which I was a part of, the Dom Lambert Show. And as luck may have it, tomorrow would have been their 65th anniversary.
Nice.
December 5th. So it's very timely.
The reason I'm doing this was my father's favorite song. This was his tune. So it makes sense that CTV... forever and a day. Love will not die, we'll keep it that way. Up among the stars we'll find a harmony of life to a lovely tune. East of the sun and west of the moon, yeah. East of the sun and west of the moon. The sun and west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west of the moon. That Dorsey used to do. Way up among the stars we'll find a harmony of life to a lovely tune. East of the sun and west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west of the moon. That was a big Tommy Dorsey too.
Great show tonight. So many talented and important people who do important things. But to my left is Len Carey, Hi, Len. Say hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay. And Andy Mele.
How you do?
Hi, Andy.
How are you, Al? Good
You
to
all
see
right?
you.
All right.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this is a thrill because Len Carey he said he only found out he was a legend recently, but we all know he was a legend for a
They call
long
me
time.
legendary. I don't know what that is.
He's a legendary entertainer and businessman on Staten Island for many years. And I heard him sing yesterday, and he still has the style, the pizzazz. It's really, really amazing. So you give me hope. You certainly give me hope.
There you
Plenty
go.
of time.
And plenty, give me hope.
You got a lot of good years left.
Yes. 2. I'm going to give you a little history, and then we're going to talk and have some fun. Well, first of all, Andy, actually, knowing that Lenny is a legend, just wrote a book called Before the Echoes Fade. And it's about Len Carey's career and several other people in the book who surrounded Lenny and knew Lenny over the years. Lenny was with Spike Jones. We have Tiny Tim here. We have
Uncle Floyd.
Uncle Floyd. And I can't. Oh, Pat Cooper.
Pat
I
Cooper.
work with
Oh,
Pat a
yeah.
lot too. And I even have a little picture of me over there in the
See
corner.
that?
And we ran out of pictures.
We ran out of
Ran out of
pictures. We were
pictures.
going to get Elmer Fudd, but there's no room for Elmer Fudd. Anyway, Lenny had his group and the Cracker Jacks.
That was it.
Okay, which they wound up on the Arthur Godfrey show many years ago. I remember as a kid watching
I called him
television.
Uncle Artie.
I'm sure you did. And Lenny has such a rich career, and then eventually wound up owning the Moulin Rouge on Staten Island.
Right.
So, Len, a couple of things I remember, you wrote, people right around today, around when they tour the country, like Reno and Vegas with
Yeah.
their band, and they ride in SUVs. You had a Cadillac.
Cadillac
You
all
used
the
to
time.
ride in that Cadillac, and I remember you loading the car, and because of my Uncle Angelo.
Do you know why I had a Cadillac?
No, tell me why.
Because I had a lot of room in the back seat. And I got tired of the guys complaining I got to get off the road because we were on the road for 18 years.
I know you were.
But they couldn't complain because the Fleetwood had plenty of room in the back.
Right, and
So
real
2 guys
comfortable.
sitting up front and 3 guys in the back sleeping.
Right.
We used to rotate.
Rotate, yeah, everybody.
So-
I remember we used to bring the car to my uncle's to take care of the car.
Yeah, Angelo.
Angelo.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
One of
So
my
tell me
bro-
about the Cracker Jacks.
The Cracker Jacks. Well, Cracker Jacks started in 1949. That was when we went on the road. We rehearsed at the Club Regina,
Right.
which eventually became the Moulin Rouge,
Correct.
which I purchased.
Right, I remember
So
you
I
did.
wound up in the place where I was rehearsing the band.
Right, isn't that something?
We rehearsed for 6 weeks and we went on the road, and we were on for 18 years.
Amazing.
Then I came back off, bought the Moulin Rouge.
Was
there
Marty?
with Marty Nobile, yeah. Was there for 11 years.
Right.
And then after that, I sold the Moulin Rouge, started doing shows with senior citizens, and that's when I met Andy Mele.
Right. Now, how did you wind up with Spike Jones?
Spike Jones.
When
well,
during the career?
well, Spike Jones was a funny thing.
He was a comic band leader. He was
He
legendary
had
also.
the
All
he
over
had
television.
the comedy band. He was way up here, and I had the comedy band was way down here. And I think in the book it tells you it was inevitable our paths were going to cross, and they did. We were working at Harold's Club in Reno, Nevada. Harold came down the shore to see us when he bought us. Then we had to finish Labor Day, and then we went to work for him in the fall, right?
Right.
While we were there, we were in Reno, Nevada, Harold's Club, and the Riverside Hotel was 2 blocks down the street. And that's where Spike was working. So Harold was a Spike Jones buff. He loved him. He says, Len, will you do an extra show tomorrow night? Because I want to get my friend Spike Jones to come up here and see your band. So that's where he first saw me. He came back the next night and he saw me again. He said, man, you guys are the end, man. Like, he said, you did a different show, didn't you? Because his show, Spike did the same exact
Always
show.
rehearsed, right.
Very well rehearsed, but a very, very good show.
Absolutely.
But he says, you did a different show than you did last night. I said, we've been together about 10 years. I said,
Right.
we got a little bit of some material.
Right, and you also have things logged that
Yeah.
you can go to tune to tune.
The characters were working in the lounge at the Riverside Hotel. 2 brothers. Their mother died. They were from Philadelphia. They went right to the wake. Now they got no band in the lounge. Spike says, man, he says, and I told him, yeah, we're so good we're out of work next week because I had an argument I was at Harold's Club, but I had an argument with his manager.
I use that myself.
Yeah. So now we're going to be out of work next week. He says, we need a band in the lounge. He says, give me your phone number. So he went to Mert, and he called me the next day, and he said, Mert would love to have you in the lounge because I don't have a band there. He said, but he don't want to have any hard feelings with Harold. I says, give me your phone number. I went to Harold. I said, Harold, you and I know what happened here, the mix-up with your manager.
Right.
While you were on the road, he booked another band in, and he picked up our option, but he says, Len, he booked another band, so after 3 weeks, I want you to come back. I says, how are we going to survive in a gambling town with no money coming down for 3 weeks?
Right.
So I says, we can close here on Sunday and open Monday at the Riverside Lounge, okay, Riverside Hotel, 2 blocks down the street. So he said, I said, but if it'll hurt my chances of working for you in the future, I won't even consider it, because more money, better room.
Right, of course. You want to fill in the gap.
So he's no problem. So he got on the phone. Mert Wertheimer owned the Riverside Hotel. Mert, I'd love to see these boys open here Monday. Ralph Pearl was the columnist in the paper. He says, I don't know how this is happening. It's never happened before in Reno, but Len Carey and his Cracker Jacks are closing at Harold's Club on Sunday night, and they're opening Monday night at the Riverside Lounge, 2 blocks down the street. Never happened before. But they didn't know what the mix-up was.
That's great.
And that's how I met Spike. Now, in between his 2 shows, he used to come in the lounge, and every time he sat in the lounge, I did a different show. And he'd sit me down and he'd say, how much material do you have? I said, we've been around a long time. Now, that was in 57, around November. I didn't hear from him till May. The phone rang. I was having macaroni on Sunday afternoon at my mother's house.
Right.
The phone rings. But hello, Len Carey there? I says, yeah. How the hell are you? This is Spike. I'm saying, who do I know named Spike? I mean,
very funny.
I said, Spike Jones? And he says, yeah. He says, how the hell are you? I said, you in New York? He said, no, I'm calling you from Beverly Hills. Not even
funny.
person to person.
Right.
So
Those days
he says, listen, he says, I'm going to take over the Dean Martin show for the summer, Club Oasis, all right? And I'd like you to be on the show. And that's how it happened.
That's how it happened.
Bingo.
Now, I know you were on Arthur Godfrey. Tell me,
yeah.
I heard mixed stories about him.
Yeah.
Was he a good guy? Was he a fair guy?
With us, he was the best in the whole world.
Right.
But you know how I got close to him? We did the Talent Scout show. We won that. Then you go on his morning show, which was on the radio and television simultaneously.
Don't mind us, Andy.
You did,
go ahead.
you did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So we were working at the log cabin. If you remember the log cabin, I only worked there.
McDonald's now.
I only worked there when I wanted to be home for Christmas.
Right.
I didn't want anybody to know I was working at the
I
log
know.
cabin. I kept it a
Bucket of
secret.
blood, then.
So he said Thursday we wound up. We had to cut all our arrangements down to 3 minutes. They wound up with time, and we were the last act on. And the guy is going like this to Arthur Godfrey stretch. So he's got 5 guys standing on the stage, the Cracker Jacks. How you going to stretch? Start talking to the band. Right. So he says, hey, you guys got a good band. Like, it's on a Thursday now.
Right.
We did Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in Thursday. He says, are you working anywhere? I says, yeah. So he said, well, suppose somebody wants to come see you. Where you working? And I said, oh, we work all over, Uncle Artie.
Oh, you didn't want to say the log cabin?
So he says, well, wait a minute now. He says, are you going to work tonight? I says, yeah. He says, well, where you working? I says, we're working. He says, you mean you don't know where you're going to work tonight? I said, we're working at the log cabin in Staten Island. He said, oh, Staten Island. He said, I was a lifeguard in South Beach in 1919.
No.
I didn't know that. Arthur Godfrey, right?
There's another piece of trivia.
There you go. So he says, well, in case somebody was, how do you get there? I said, oh, it's very hard to get there. And they were getting laughs. We're getting laughs. And I said, in fact, you can hardly get there anymore. When I went to work, Sid and Bill, the guys, they're on, what's the matter? You didn't want to tell? I said, yeah, I didn't want to tell them where we're working. I didn't care.
Funny.
I did them the biggest favor in the world. I gave them the biggest weekend they ever saw.
Good.
We had a cop on the corner of Forest Avenue and Richmond Avenue directing traffic.
Wow.
We emptied the whole, we did a show.
You guys were crazed. You definitely were
We
crazed.
did a show.
I remember the buzz.
Listen to this. We did a show, emptied the whole place out, put a new crew in there, did another show, emptied the whole place out. We did this all night long until 4 o'clock in the morning, right? I gave them a Friday, Saturday, Sunday that they'll never forget for the rest of their life. And it was only because of an accident that happened on TV.
Could you
Shows you
imagine?
how it
That
happens.
Shows you how it works. But I do remember the craze.
Show business is a very funny business.
I'm going to give Andy 2 seconds. Andy, you got 2 seconds.
Okay.
All right, done.
Done. No more.
So
I'll fill in when
how
he's-
did
when
you
he's
two?
wrong.
How did you meet Lenny? How did you get the idea for the book? How did this work?
Well, Lenny and I got together around when he sold it, right after he sold the Moulin Rouge. He started doing the things for the senior citizens.
Okay.
And I had gotten into that through the Club Benet over in Jersey. I was
Right.
selling for them. And actually, the guy from the
Holiday Inn,
put
yeah.
us together. He knew
On
the two of
Staten
us.
Island
Yeah, he knew
Yeah.
the two of us.
Well,
and
that was
he's-
the guy who built it.
No, when
No,
I sold
he-
when I sold the
Oh,
club,
he was
I
running
put
the-
put a trio in there. We were there for 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was, and he told me, and he told him, "You guys ought to get together," and we did. So we started doing shows for senior citizens, and that's how we got to know each other.
I got you. You guys, so
So
you have a
This was
history.
the
It's
80s.
a longer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
long
This was in the
history, yeah.
'80s. We were together for several number of years, and then
Best salesman in the whole world.
Good.
and then well, the beginning of this year, I was looking for a subject. And my son, Andrew, suggested, why don't you write about Lenny? You always said you had great stories you could write. I said, well, I haven't seen him in 30 years. I mean, he must be 110 years old. I don't know where he is.
You were 111.
111 now. So I'm only 91.
I know.
we
You look great,
we
and
ran
you
him
got-
down, and when I called him, it was like 30 years ago. He sounded, you hear it the way he talked. He was,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So we got together. We spent about 5 hours together the first day, reminiscing, talking about it. And I said, I got up to leave, and I said, well, you want to do this? You want to go ahead with this? And he said, yeah, but you better type fast. I'm 90 years old. So that's how we started. That's how we did it. And
That's amazing.
I typed as fast as I could, and we got it.
Well, I haven't read it yet. I was skimming through. I only got it last night.
Yeah.
I was skimming through it, and I can't wait to really get into it.
You're not
and
in
see
there
some-
till about the 13, 14 chapters.
I saw some. Yeah, I
There
saw
is no
that, yeah.
13 chapters.
There's no chapter.
No
There's
chapter
no 13. You wouldn't
yeah,
have a 13
yeah.
chapter.
We left it out purposely because people
The
might
bad
be
luck.
super.
I
might be
know.
super-
I
And he
know.
confused everybody. The publisher called me. Do you notice it?
that's-
Are there pages missing? I
That's
said, just
very
do it.
funny.
Just do it. the
But
way
it's
it is."
true. People are that. See, when I was a kid, and I talked about Cracker Jacks, I mentioned before, I used to go to these St. Mary's, Mount Loretta shows, and because my uncle was on the Nick Bukovac Association. So I saw him as a kid, up in the choir loft at St. Mary's every year.
In the hall.
Yeah, in
The
the
hall.
hall.
The hall.
That's right. It's in the hall.
In the hall.
And saw him there. And then I saw him later on when he was on the show. And then, as he mentioned last night, my father was a liquor salesman, so I didn't get to know the churches on Staten Island. I got to know all the nightclubs. That's where I was. And that was really fun. And so that's when he bought the Moulin Rouge, and he would call me when Roz Mason got sick,
Yeah.
And I would play with him and Billy. And sometimes I always said he was funnier than some of the comedians,
Yeah. Oh, sure.
because the comedians were there, they were bombing, and he would, throw a little line here, a little line there, and take over, And I'll never forget when Dominic the Donkey, Lou Monte.
Lou Monte.
Lou Monte, yeah.
I'm working in the lounge, and he had Lou Monte in there. Lou Monte comes in, he wear the diamond cufflinks, and the sharp, and he had two beautiful girls on his arm. He walked in the door. That was like a moment. It was like the king came in, And he was great. Lou Monte was great. But it was funny. Lou Monte was local guy until the Christmas stuff started being poured all over the country. Because he was a New York, Brooklyn, Bronxy kind of guy. And then about 30 years ago, when all these stations were playing Christmas all the time, they needed Christmas songs. They went into the barrel, and they would pull Christmas songs out of the hat because you didn't have enough material. They couldn't keep playing the same things.
Yeah.
So that Dominic the Donkey and a few of the other Christmas things became national. So he actually made it as a household name, Lou Monte, many years after he died.
Yeah.
I heard that his son was a club date drummer in Long Island.
Yes, I worked with him too.
You did, okay. Yeah.
No, I didn't work with him. I took his place with the Teardrops.
Okay. There you go.
They were playing. He was playing with the Teardrops.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is
And then he
amazing.
left, and I went to work with them for a while.
Right. It's amazing. Now, where are you living now, by the way? Are you back on the island?
Well, I have an apartment on Manor Road, 800 Manor Road.
But you were in Jersey for a while.
Well, I divide my time. My daughter lives in New Jersey, where
Okay.
I used to live when I was married. My wife died.
Okay.
And
Sorry to hear that.
my daughter's living there with she got 4 kids under 7.
Oh my God.
6, 4, 3, and 9 months
Oh,
old.
my
Imagine
God,
that.
isn't that
But that's what she
wonderful?
always wanted. She wanted 2 boys and 2 girls. She's got them.
She's got
But
'em.
I split
So
my
you go
time
back
up
and forth,
back and
right,
forth.
right.
Yeah.
Now I know you were doing the senior thing right up until you got hurt a few months ago. Well, how did this?
Yeah,
all-
I became a driver tester for the Motor Vehicle Bureau in New Jersey, and I worked. The last day I worked was in 2016 was September the 16th. That was on a Friday, and Saturday I fell. I took a fall, my first fall, put me in a hospital for 4 days. 10 stitches above my eye, and I found out that as you get old, you start to fall.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and there it is. And you know,
Before
you
the spring.
you think when you fall you can get up. You can't.
you
You know, in the
can't.
TV they say,
Yeah, yeah.
"I fall and I can't get up."
Yeah,
I didn't believe it. I fell and I couldn't get up.
Isn't that funny? Well, we never think along those lines.
Yeah, there you go.
You were talking about, I know the travels, you guys always travel. I used to marvel at the fact that you got in a car and you toured all these great cities.
Oh, we were all over the place.
You know, now Carmine Giovinazzo, we're like related. Half of the Giovinazzos married into my family. And Carmine had a similar fate where he was, I'll tell the story quick because it's about you. He was in Vegas and the movie Star Wars became popular. And the song, the group Miko, they say recorded it, but Miko was really the name of the producer, I think.
Yeah.
And there was no group Miko, and it became a #1 hit. So Carmine was in the lounge. They heard his band, and they said to him, "We want to talk to you on the break." And the guy explained to him who he was, and he said, "We need a group to be Miko."
Miko.
So the next day they met, had a business meeting, and Carmine and his group became Miko.
Miko.
And they toured the country as Miko with the uniforms and the flashing lights. And they made albums, and they got limousines and everything. They never did the recording because the recording was done in the studio for the movie.
It had been done
but
for the
it was,
movie, yeah.
as they sold it as a 45.
Yeah.
And Carmine Giovinazzo from the Sunshine Market on
Yeah,
Florence
of
Avenue,
course.
him and his group became the group Miko. So it's a similar fate because you never know when you're on your
That's
road.
right.
On the road,
You
meet-
never know.
You never know. Now, Roz Mason, in the end, I lived in Tottenville for about 28 years, and I used to go to the video store. And one night, I'm in the video store on Amboy Road, and I'm looking at the woman behind the counter, and I said, "I know you." So she looked at me. She says, "I know you too." She says, "You're Al Lambert." I said, "But I don't know you." She goes, "I'm Roz Mason." I hadn't seen her for so many years.
Yeah.
But Roz was good.
Oh, yeah.
And she could
Fantastic.
sing, and her impressions. Her Judy Garland was
She
on the
had it
money.
down pat.
Oh, my God, her Judy Garland.
She had
And she
it down
told me
pat.
that she...
I got mad at her, you know, when Judy died, she took a night off to go to the wake.
I know, I was going to tell you. She told me she went
And I
to
think
Judy
you
Garland's
filled in
wake.
for her.
I think I did. And she told me about the story.
Yeah.
But how she got in the back door because that was very guarded.
Yeah.
And there was some sort of a deal. They said, we got to get Roz Mason in. And they took her in the back of the funeral home and they got her into Judy Garland's wake. She impersonated her all those years and she was spot on that. I think you're right. I think I sang for her that
Well, you
night.
know, when Frank was in town, he always it was always a Jillies.
I know. I met him
And
there.
when we were on Broadway at the Hawaii Kai, above the Winter Garden
I
Theater
know
there,
exactly where it was.
We used to, after we got through work, because you go through early, it was a restaurant,
Right.
we used to go to Jillies.
They had the
right
one
around
drink
corner.
there called the Suffering Bastard.
Yeah. So,
That was the name of the drink.
yeah, so when Frank
That wasn't a curse, it was a
Frank was
drink.
there, when Frank was at Jillies, you couldn't get in the place.
I know.
But we were study customers, so the doorman used to say, Lenny, go down the alley and go in the kitchen door. So that's how we got the...
Yeah, the kitchen was in the back.
Yeah.
Now Mike was the piano player there.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
terrific
Oh,
piano
terrific.
player.
You know, he used to do
I
that
sang with
tune
him.
out of The Music Man.
Oh yeah.
And that's what they call it, you know, the one, you know, the one, ding, 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 and it sounds like pool. And you know what I'm
yes,
talking? Remember
yes.
he used to do that?
Yes,
He
my
had that
God,
down
had
pat,
that
man. It's
down.
got a million words
We
in
can
it.
go on and on. We've only got a couple of seconds left. Anyway, we're going to bring you back. Yeah, we'll do another show. We'll do another show. We got
When
more
are you doing
stories.
your next show?
Well, the next one is in January.
January.
Right. Well,
Oh.
you're not invited
We
to
have
that.
to
You're
wait till
invited
then?
to February because I got my
You
my
better get me
January
in there.
booked
I'm
up.
not getting any
I know.
younger.
We got 10 minutes left.
That was 91. That's not.
Anyway,
Don't hold it
Andy,
off too
thanks.
long.
Anybody wants
Thank you
to
very
know
much.
a little bit
Thank
more
you.
about Len and you'd like to know about the book Before the Echoes Fade, give me a call. I know this is going to be a great book. Lenny,
Yeah.
you're a
It's on
gentleman.
sale at Barnes & Noble.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And on Amazon.
No kidding. Amazon too?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. We're good.
That's the editor.
And everybody that's read it so far said it's a good read. I might read it myself.
I think you should. Anyway, we're going to
Give
get
him
our
more
next
stories
guest.
for the next time.
And she
Thank you very
faced
much.
it. You're welcome.
Thanks,
What a
Thank you.
guy, the best.
So my next guest, as I call you, Dr. Miller, because he's the doctor of everything.
And you are the professor of all things.
We go back many, many moons.
Should we tell them where the doctor thing came from?
Well,
you know
you-
where the
you-
doctor thing came
go ahead,
from?
go ahead.
The doctor thing came from years ago. Sometimes it was difficult to get a good table in a restaurant. So if you called for the reservations and you said, "This is Dr. Miller calling," you get a better table. That's what
That's how it
That's
worked.
what we started calling each
Well,
other
I had a friend of
doctor.
mine who didn't make reservations, but when he would go to the restaurant, he'd walk up and he had 6 people with him. He'd say, "Excuse me, this Dr. Johnson, please." There's no Dr. Johnson. No, Dr. Johnson. I called this afternoon. You said bring the table. I said, "Oh, we'll take care of it, Dr. Don. Don't worry about it."
Doctor. It always works.
It always works.
It always works.
Anyway,
That's
we'll
it.
go back to reality. So let me
yeah.
tell everybody that you
Yes.
were my first guest on the original Al Lambert show here.
Wow.
I don't know how many years ago that was. Not that long, 4 or 5. And
It's.
yeah.
I guess it has been.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
And so I always get a continual update. Now,
Well-
let me just
Go ahead.
one more thing. So Wayne's career, which is great. Okay, he's been an actor all his life, done so many things as a businessman, and now in his not so later years, okay, he's doing a lot of professional things, or highly professional, that of value. Go ahead.
Good. Well, it has. It's been a while since I've been here. I'm trying to remember the last project I was involved with, and I think it was that off-Broadway play, which was a musical. I played Bill Clinton
Right.
in the musical.
That was great. I enjoyed that,
and that was
really.
it was a little over a year ago because it was right before the election. And then right after that,
It was on 42nd Street.
right on 42nd Street, yeah, at the Castillo Theater on
There you go.
42nd between 10th and 11th. And right after that, I went into a stage show out on Long Island, a production of 1776. A
remember
great
that.
musical about the founding of the country.
I think you weren't here for that. I think you were
I don't
here
think,
for the other
yeah,
one.
so I don't think I came on to tout that. But
Now you're doing-
But I've been doing more television work and
Right.
film work, and I had a wonderful summer and early fall because I got involved in 2 incredibly good projects. The first one is I got cast as a banker in Steven Spielberg's film The Post. Now, The Post is the story of the Pentagon Papers and the Washington Post. And Meryl Streep plays Katharine Graham. Tom Hanks plays Ben Bradley. And it's how they made the decision to publish the Pentagon Papers and really saved the Washington Post, which was in trouble financially before that happened, and put the Washington Post, took it to another level. But you don't know when they post these things and the casting directors call you. It had a different name. It was called the Nor'easter. We didn't know. What does that
It's
mean?
like a storm.
I thought it was going to be a fishing movie. What do I know? And they cast me as they said, well, we want you to play a banker. So they take him and fit you for wardrobe. And they put me in a suit and they slicked my hair back and made me look like a German banker, And then I show up on set the first day and there's only 10 people. There's 5 bankers, 5 board of directors of the Washington Post, and Meryl. And the assistant director says to me, "Can you smoke?" I smoked for years. I
Right,
quit
right.
January the 3rd,
you got it down to
1986.
style.
But I know how
You know how to do it.
I know how to do it. I say, I can smoke. He said, "Can you puff on cue?" I can puff on cue. He goes,
Right.
"Good." He goes, "When she walks in the door, I want you standing right there. I want you to blow a big puff of smoke in her face." He says, "That's her welcome when she comes into the..." I said, "Really?" And Spielberg is standing right there next to me, and he goes, "Big puff, big puff." He says, I want to smack her in the face.
No,
I'm saying, Spielberg's
wow.
giving me directions.
Right, that's pretty
So
good.
I did get to spend a bunch of time on that movie. And then right after that, the same casting company, knock wood, have been very kind to me, called me and asked me to be in this film, The Irishman. This is the Hoffa story, the one of Martin Scorsese. It'll be filming till next March, I think. Scorsese takes his time, but I'm in shots that were set in Detroit, and they blew up a car outside of Lee's Tavern.
Oh, that's right. I heard about that
big,
on Staten
big,
Island.
big car
Yes.
explosion
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
Lee's Tavern, but it's not, obviously not in Staten Island.
Right.
It's in Detroit.
Right.
So, they call me up. Can you go? They say the cast is going to assemble at the Academy of St. Dorothy's. I said, no kidding. This is great. Yeah. So we go to the Academy of St. Dorothy's. There's about a dozen background people and actors, and they put a bunch of people into Lee's. And there's two characters that walk out of Lee's, and they walk into the explosion. Yeah. I have never blown up a car.
Right.
I mean, I've done a lot of things
Right.
in my life,
Right.
but I've never blown up a car. I don't know why, but I guess I look like a tough guy or something. They say, we want you to walk up Garrettson Avenue, up to the car's on the corner.
Right.
And you come walking up Garrettson Avenue, and stop when the car explodes. And how close? Don't get too close. All right. And they rehearse this a lot.
Right.
Because they can only do it once.
You only can do it once.
You only do it once.
Yeah.
But the assistant director is a little girl, about 5 foot nothing, and it's, okay, so action. And everybody does their thing, and then she goes, bang. Bang. Okay, fine. Reset, and action. Bang. That's the
rehearsal.
That's rehearsal.
Right.
So we do this 10 times. And after a while, now we're, here we go. Do it
Yeah,
again, do it
right.
again, do it again. It starts to rain. Everybody's a little miserable now.
Right.
They find, okay, we're going hot now. Now the car's going to go. Okay, that's good. Walk up the street. Nice action. And walking to the street. It wasn't bang. It was a bob. Parts of a 1972 Thunderbird are flying over buildings. And I mean, it really was. You'll see in the film, this is a big to-do.
I wonder how they got away with that.
Well, they had
permits.
fire engines
Yeah,
there.
right, they had everything, yeah.
Everything's blocked off.
Right,
It was
right.
people were, it's right up by the overpass.
Right,
the
I know
train
where it is. Yeah,
stations.
of
You know
course,
it is, right? All the sightseers up there watching this whole
God
thing.
almighty.
But I mean, it was a little scary. I got home. Donna says to me, she says, so when did I say, they blew up the car? She goes, they really blow it up? I said, oh, yeah, they really blow it up.
Great.
So
That's
I
good.
did that.
That's good.
That won't be out for a long time now.
Now, Vito's got two
post.
two things in that, so you know.
I think he told me he's got a couple of scenes.
He's acting. He's got
Yeah.
a couple of scenes, and then he is the Sicilian language expert.
Right. He's the dialogue coach.
The dialogue coach.
The dialogue
for Sicilian
coach.
language.
Yeah.
Talk about Managati.
For Harvey Keitel.
Right,
and,
right.
And well, this is De Niro plays an Irishman.
Okay, that's how it works.
He
Okay.
plays the Irishman who is, they say, eliminated Jimmy Hoffa.
I got you.
And
I wonder who
Joe
they-
Pesci
Right.
plays Buffalino, who was the Chicago or the Detroit gangster who
Okay.
allegedly hired
guy to do
Frank
this.
Sheeran, who was the De Niro character, to do this.
Now, the story goes that one day, about 3 or 4 years ago, at Snug Harbor, this fellow walks into the. This is a story that I have not been able to corroborate, but I heard it from several people. Walked into the administration building, nicely, of course, as a gentleman, looked around and went to the desk, and then he went to somewhere else. And he said, "Hi, my name is Steven, and I wanted to look at Snug Harbor for a possible movie set." And it was Steven Spielberg.
Could be.
Yeah,
okay.
they
He's
said he's just a nice guy,
very
down-to-earth guy.
Lovely guy.
Went
Lovely
in,
guy.
introduced himself as Steven,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
walked around,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Lovely
you know?
guy.
Yeah,
Lovely guy.
that's great. Now, tell me the other stuff.
But then I did another.
I saw you in
I did a film.
The Good Wife, but just,
I
that's
did the
right,
Good
right,
Wife.
okay.
I did the sequel, The Good
Right,
Fight.
right.
I've been doing a
Right.
lot of that kind of stuff. But I did a film where I had a really good part.
Okay.
The film is called Whiskey Soda.
Okay.
It's a festival film, so you won't be able to go to the atrium.
Right,
and
you're gonna
that.
see it at the
But
special
it'll
theaters.
be
Right.
once it does the festival circuit, and I go to an audition and I meet these two young people. One guy lives in Brooklyn, the other one lives in Mexico City. and they are the co-writers and directors of this movie, and they do this from Mexico and Brooklyn collaboratively. Crazy. So they say, all right, we want you to
State of the art.
We have, I don't know, technology. It's crazy. We want you to play a fella, and you're estranged from your son. You got a drinking problem, and your son is away at college, and your wife dies, and you have to go to the campus to tell the son that his mother's passed. It's tough. It's
a tough one,
Tough part. So they rented a college campus. This shot. I said, where are we going to shoot this movie? It's just outside of Syracuse. That's a town called Morrisville. I didn't even know there was a town called Morrisville. There's Morrisville College up there. Between the semesters, there's nobody there. They wanted an empty campus, so they rented the college campus. We were the only people on campus. The crew and
I got relatives up there.
No kid, beautiful. It looks like Ireland up there. It's a beautiful part of the country. So we went up there. So I brought a clip. I brought a clip.
Right,
I brought a clip. I gave it to
Is this the
folks.
trailer?
No, this isn't
Just a
a trailer.
clip.
This is just a clip
All right.
of my first meeting with my son.
So we're gonna
And,
show-
So we'll
show the clip.
show that
Showing the
clip
clip.
now.
Okay.
And then I think you'll
come
get
back.
you'll get a kick out of it.
Okay.
Welcome. Can I get you guys anything to drink? Just a coffee. Cup of coffee for you.
Whiskey soda.
A cup of coffee and a highball coming up.
What?
A highball.
Highball? It's a highball. I said whiskey soda.
Yes, sir. Highball.
Whiskey and soda water. Whiskey, soda, get it?
Whiskey soda coming up.
So I hear you're in a play just off of Times Square.
It's a thesis bar. We're 3 hours from Times Square.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Did she tell you?
Yes. Yeah. She told me. So, what's it about, this play of yours?
It's about a mom and her son.
In the that movie,
Yes.
is that also going to be in the film festivals, or is that?
That's going to be that's in,
Or that-
film festivals, and then I got another one coming out that's making the circuit right now, which I think we may have spoken about. It's called The First Ninja in New York.
No, we never talked about
Okay,
it. We got 442.
Period
Go
film.
ahead.
Period film set in New York City, in the tenements of New York, and a Japanese family moves into an Irish ghetto.
Okay.
And the Irish was tough, the 5 points, set in like the late 1870s, 1880s.
Well, they were the first really big group to come over.
Not long after the gangs of New York and
Right.
80s. So it was tough place. And I play an elderly Irish tailor who's raising his granddaughter by himself. And two thugs are trying to shake me down for money, And the Japanese family are trained in the martial arts, and they take care of me. They take care of me. Yeah.
That's pretty
Interesting
good.
story.
You're the Irishman.
I'm the
It was a
Irishman.
casting
I'm the Irishman.
success.
Well, it really was. A wonderful director, Justin Ambrosino, is directing, and that's.
Is he related to Larry?
I don't think so.
yeah.
No. He just got married. He got married in Italy. He's
okay.
actually from Italy.
From Italy.
Yeah, the business is so different now.
Oh, my God,
People are from all over the world.
Now, how do
it's
you
like-
just? Someone wants to do what you're doing. Again, time is coming. You have to get an equity card. Is that?
Well, that's for stage work.
Oh, that's only for stage work.
The Actors Equity is the union that represents actors and stage managers in live performance.
Right, okay, so it's
The
not-
Screen Actors Guild,
Okay.
which now merged with AFTRA, which was the television
Right.
guild, now, so it's SAG-AFTRA. They represent the people on film and television work.
Now, do you
And
have
that's
to? You had to belong to that?
you don't have to belong, but
I
if
get
you
you.
if you want to get the good work,
You
got
gotta
to belong.
No, that's right.
So,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. I didn't know. So
So
sometimes you have to belong to it to get it. You know.
well, yeah,
at
that's
all.
part of it. I was lucky. If you remember years ago, I was on the Guiding Light
Right.
back in the 80s. And because I was on the Guiding Light and I had principal roles on the Guiding Light,
Right.
speaking parts, I was able to join the union.
Union. Right.
That's how I got in.
That's interesting. Now, Gary
Old days.
Deinstadt, who was my piano player for 8 or 9 years, he became the music director for
Right.
the Guiding Light.
Yeah.
And there was a moment there where him and Vinny got that Laura. He put Laura on that show. Not
you go.
that she was on it physically,
Right.
but the song that she recorded, that
Right,
Vinny
was-
wrote,
was played.
was played in the
See,
background
that's it,
during the
yeah.
moment. You know,
Well,
you never
all-
know in life where it's
all of
going to
that,
come through. You know.
Sadly, all of that.
That's gone.
Yeah, the daytime
Yeah,
stuff is
it's
all
all
gone
gone,
from New York. It's still out on the West Coast, but there's enough independent film
Mm-hmm.
work going on. There's a film out now called Landline. I got to dance with Edie Falco in a bar scene, which was kind of fun. And she's a lovely person.
And we got the Broadway stages coming here.
We do.
Hopefully
It should make a lot more work for all of us. We're
that
hoping.
should be. I'm hoping that
yeah.
stays. I know there was a little discussion about that, but it seems to be like it's going to happen. you
Well,
know?
they're working on Orange is the New Black out there already because they've got the jail parts.
No
Yeah.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear
Yeah.
that. Because I passed by yesterday and Lenore had asked, and I said, no, I think they've already started doing stuff
Yeah,
there.
they
Oh,
have.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's one of our favorite shows.
They're gonna build
What did I tell
when
them?
they build these sets. When we had a scene in the Post, which was at Kay Graham's house. And we went to Steiner in one of those airplane hangars, sound stages, and they built a 3-bedroom house
in the sound,
on a sound stage with
It's
how
going
they
to be.
spend
I'm
money
really
like
excited about
Yahoo!
it.
It's
I'm
crazy.
excited. That's
yeah.
going to be here. I'm
It's gonna be here.
13 years old. No opportunities. But the
No,
bottom
no,
line
no.
is that
Al,
I got to say goodbye.
so don't say goodbye yet. I'm going
right.
to tell you why.
Go ahead.
There's more opportunities
At this age than
as
then.
you mature.
Yeah, and I agree because
See?
you're not in competition that much.
That's right.
You're not like an ingenue.
There's a lot of 25-year-old guys.
That ain't working. They're bartenders.
As you move up in the pay grade,
See, Lenny, there's room for me and you now.
it thins out a bunch. It's always
Wayne
good
Miller,
to be
ladies
here.
and gentlemen,
Oh, thank you,
local
Al.
star here. So my next guests are from one of the larger not-for-profits on Staten Island, on your mark. And they work with all great people and clients. I don't know what the term is today.
Individuals.
Individuals. There were so many different terms, in my day, working with special people. So individuals is the right term. They should have done that.
For today.
For today. Yeah, tomorrow they'll change that. Mary Giorgio, Eileen Cunningham, and you can introduce
Nick Diamore.
Nick Diamore. Hopefully you can be heard there. And Mary and I we're friends a long time. I've been involved in special things. And one of the purposes for this show was people who help people. And this is really people who are helping people. The second rung was always live music, entertainment, and we morphed into people who write books and stories. So the arts and people who help people. So Mary and I were at an event a few weeks ago, and we were lucky enough to sit next to each other, and she was telling me about this new program, and I was just blown away by it. And what you're going to see here today is miraculous. So, Mary, I'm going to let you talk about it a little, all right?
Okay, well, it really started with Nick.
And Nick is going to...
Right, it's really
Right.
Nick's story and how
Okay.
he really got this program up and going using a letterboard to communicate. And he bugged Sue, his other teacher, for about 3 years to tell Mary to get a program started using a letterboard so non-speaking individuals can have their voice be heard. He wants to try to change the mindset of autism and how people treat individuals like
Right.
Nick, who, again, let's throw some labels out that are wonderful, low functioning, which is
Oh, yeah, bothers
far
me.
from the truth.
Right.
Autism is definitely motor.
A motor.
Yeah,
problem,
cognitively,
right.
he's
He's all there.
Oh,
You
yeah, they
see-
all
you
are.
See it in his eyes, yeah.
just because he can't speak, everyone throws that label of nonverbal, which He has a lot to say using a letterboard, which you'll see. Yeah, gentle though,
He
gentle.
can talk to me.
You have a question? You have a question, Val? Go ahead. T and off. L and off. Beautiful. And off. Go ahead. Tell and off. H. I. Gentle on the board. Tell him and off. Go ahead, keep going. Inhibit. Yeah. V and off. E and off. R. I love the way you're saying the word, but letters too. Tell him I'm very R and off. Tell him I'm very smart.
Wow. Well, first of all, you spell better than me.
He spells better than all of us. You know,
You got that
it's really
down.
amazing, right, Eileen? How?
So I'm going to ask, can I ask him a question?
Sure.
Yeah, Nick. So you mentioned rap. Do you know of the group, the Wu-Tang? Wu-Tang?
I and off. M and off.
Eminem?
That's who your favorite one. He has one.
Am I right?
Yes.
Is that right? Yes.
Mm.
The louder the better, too, on his headphones. The group meets on Thursday nights, and each week, one of the guys will determine what they want to do, whether
I
it's
get
science,
you. All right.
history,
I get
whatever
you.
they want. And the three of us, myself, Eileen, and Sue, the other teacher, we come up with a lesson. You know, we might watch a YouTube. We
You do it at night or during the day?
Yeah, at night,
You do it
at
at
the
night.
On Your Mark building. And last, we just did an experiment on force, applied force, and, oh, yeah, it's really,
Absolutely amazing.
we did also, our big thing was 9/11. They wanted to know about 9/11. So we did a couple, actually 2 classes about 9/11 and stories of families, you know, people that perished and
Right.
families. And then we actually went to the museum.
I
We
was
took
gonna
the-
ask you, did you go?
Yeah, oh, sure.
Did
We have
Nick
to go
go?
on yep, we hopped on the ferry, we walked through the city, which to us is easy to do, but now take 3 boys that are non-speaking in a crazy city with noises, sounds,
Yeah, it's tough.
and, you know, you have to realize they have motor issues. They're either getting too much, not enough, or too little
I get it,
information,
yeah.
and that's where their body struggles too.
Sure. Well, it takes time. During when I had my chorus, and I would take them to the city, 50 kids,
Wow.
and I would have maybe 18 people, and we had a bus. We're gonna read your thing in a minute, and we would get on the bus. And then the bus would go into the ferry at that time because you'd cross the water with them. And I would bring the kids upstairs because they had never really been in that opportunity. And amazing. I had all my teacher assistants surrounding the kids, and people were coming into the circle and talking, and but it was hard because my eyes were all over the place. I didn't want to lose a kid,
Right.
So I would constantly walk around the circle while the teacher is like, I had this whole plan. So I get it, I
Oh,
get
it's
it.
hard.
It's hard. It really is. Yeah.
No, and they wanted, they want to go so badly, but again, you have to worry with
Yeah,
what may,
you have to. You never know.
be their challenge or
Right, you never
getting
know.
stuck, just being in the
I
midst
totally
of
get
that
it.
craziness.
And I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
Eileen, I know you have something that you want to read. So what is that?
This is actually Nick's words. Actually, in April at our dinner dance, John Bellotti asked, we did a video on different things of On Your Mark, and they came and did a videotape of the group that we do. And we said, it's great for us to, talk about spelling to communicate and
Right.
these non-speaking individuals, but how about let Nick tell 700 people, right, to get up in front of 700
Wow,
people,
great.
what it is to have autism, his hopes, dreams, and desires. So as you see, it is the slow process using a board and to keep 700 people quiet for 5 minutes.
Well,
So
great.
we asked Nick, how about you will do it ahead of time, I'll read it, and you just end with a thought or
Right.
whatever you want to say.
Very good.
Let me tell you, for 5 minutes, he commanded 700 people to be absolutely, we could hear a pin drop. And I read his words, which I'm going to have Eileen read what autism is. And these are all words from Nick.
So these are Nick's words. What it's like to have autism. Each day is a struggle for my body to cooperate with my mind. We are challenged by our motor functions, but our minds are fully aware and capable of learning just like everyone else. We are highly sensitive to the outside world. We also fight inside with our personal sensor systems too. People need more awareness of autism characteristics in order to fully understand, support, and teach us. So the next question for him was, what spelling to communicate means to you? And this was his answer. My life has new meaning ever since spelling to communicate. I am treated with dignity and respect. I have been given new opportunities to demonstrate my intelligence, capabilities, and finally have a successful way to communicate. I love myself more than ever. Spelling to communicate has given me more confidence, decreased my fears, and makes me feel part of society. I've been hoping for a long time to meet more people like me who are practicing and communicating on letterboards. I am still dreaming that many others will begin learning this as well. Finally, there is a support group and social group of others just like me, a place of positive support and learning. On Your Mark has finally given me hope, and I am so thankful for this opportunity. Thank you for all listening to my story.
Great.
He just said, tell him about our program. So this is, we're starting actually in mid-January.
And the name of the program is going to be
This is
Spelling to Communicate. I want to
right.
make sure.
On Your Mark does have 2-day programs, but what we're going to do actually start with 2 non-speaking individuals using the letterboard, and really, they're going to run it. It's almost like the perfect Seinfeld episode. Remember I told you this? He came up with, he wanted a program, and everyone said, what are you going to do? We're like, I don't know. Let's ask them. I mean, I don't know
Right.
how it is to have autism,
Right.
do you? You
No,
know?
absolutely.
So we kind of threw the ball in their court and said, what do you want? You know, we came up with the day program, you know, of horticulture, cooking, maintenance. We did. We never asked them, what do you want?
Right.
So now we're going to toss the ball in their court and say, you want a day program, what do you want? Nick wants a vocational piece put in the day program. We have Chris, who's a painter, and he said, I don't want a job, I'm an artist, and he's an unbelievable artist. He has done two shows, art shows, and he's like, gives back. He did an art show and raised over $5,000 for my friend's cause, which is another nonprofit. And they're just so giving, you know,
Right,
they really are. These guys just want to help everyone.
That's wonderful. I mean, you can't even describe how wonderful it is. you
Yeah,
know?
and he wants to get more non-speaking people on the
involved,
board. But, you know, we have to get more people trained. You don't just put a board in front of somebody's face and say, start spelling, you know.
You want to pass on whatever this wonderful thing that you're doing to others because you never want to see it end, you know.
Right. And this, again, this is all
important, you know.
because of Nick. Really,
Yeah,
Nick
it's
was the one
amazing.
who got the ball rolling here on Staten Island.
Nick's last name again?
Diamora. Nick
Got to name it
Diamora.
spelling to communicate the Nick
I said
Diamora program.
he's the principal.
Yeah, you're
He'll
the
be the
principal of the
principal.
school. You're the principal of the school.
A-Y-U-N-O.
You just said I'm a teacher in an autistic body. Thank you. All right. Thank you for being here. So my next guest is the gentleman to my right, Mr. Stu Waters. Hello, Stu. Good to see you. I'm
I
good.
just wanted to say, Al is such a giving spirit on dancing. He's so much fun to work with. I'm not just saying this. I was just thinking this before. He just lets everybody just shine and do their thing, and it's wonderful. It's just so much fun. We have so much fun.
In the wee small hours of the morning, when the whole wide world is fast asleep, you lie awake and you think about the girl and never ever think of counting sheep. When your lonely heart has learned its lesson, she'd be yours if only she'd call in the wee small hours of the morning. That's the time I miss her most of all. Those of you listening, this is a treat. This is Stu Waters. Of the morning, when the whole wide world is fast asleep, you lie awake and you think about the girl and never ever think of counting sheep. When your lonely heart has learned its lesson, she'd be yours if only she'd call in the wee small hours of the morning. That's the time I miss her most of all.
Can we end with All the Way?
Absolutely.
When somebody loves you, it's no good unless she loves you all the way. Through the good or lean years and through all the in-between years, all the way. Taller than the tallest tree is, that's how it's got to feel. Deeper than the deep blue sea is, that's how deep it goes if it's real. When somebody needs you, it's not good unless she needs you all the way. Through the good or lean years and through all the in-between years, come what may. Oh, who knows where the road may lead us? Only a fool would say. If you let me love you, it's for sure I'm gonna love you all the way. All the way.
Well, the Al Lambert Show coming to a close. Stu Waters, thank you so much. Terrific talent. Thank you all for listening. We say at the end of the show, go to bed, it's late, because you never know when the show is going to be on. But thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Informative, entertaining, and a lot of entertainment history and legendary Len Carey and Wayne Miller. Thank you. Great.